Alright, so the last part of the meal we're going to make broccoli with tomatoes. I already chopped up most of my broccoli in little florets, but just in case you don't know how to do that, you just take your broccoli and kind of cut it in a circle, like so. And then chop it off. And then you can just take your little florets, chop them in a quarter. Makes it pretty easy. And that way you can save a little money if you buy the whole organic broccoli, but as a stem it's like $2. I think cheaper than if you get it just the crown. The crown is when they've already chopped that long stem off. So I think that's just a waste of money. So you can do this and save a little money, and it's pretty darn easy. So just chop it like that. And what we're going to do for the tomatoes, I chopped those in little cubes. But to do that, you take your whole tomato and slice it down the line in little parts of tomato. And you can just take your knife, cut it. This is a pretty big tomato, cut it sideways, and then you can just make little cubes like that. Because I'm cooking the broccoli and the tomatoes together, I didn't take out the seeds from the tomatoes, but if I'm putting out pasta and stuff, I do just really don't like seeds. So we'll go to hold on. Oh yeah, look at that cool technology right there. Hopefully this doesn't fall. That'd actually be kind of funny. Okay, so in the pan I have butter, and I'm letting it brown a little bit so that gets a cool flavor to it. So I'm going to add the broccoli, add the tomatoes, toss it around a little bit, throw a piece on the floor, because that's always good to, make sure Baron gets to eat a little broccoli. And then take part of the wine for its moisture. I'm going to cover it. It's on medium right now, and we'll come back to it in a couple minutes. If I can turn the camera off. Okay, so while everything's cooking, just to do a quick recap. We have the pork tenderloin that is stuffed with buffalo mozzarella, pancetta, and basil. Rounded it, or rolled it, and seared it on all sides with salt and pepper. Covered it with roasted garlic. Put that in the oven at 400 degrees, and that was the first thing in the oven. And while we were doing that, we chopped up the new potatoes, did it with smoked sea salt and feta, tossed that with olive oil, put it all in a pan, popped that in the oven. That went in the oven about 5 to 7 minutes. Baron Ruhig. 5 to 7 minutes later, Baron's freaking out because I have a steak on the counter right now, and he's pretty sure that's just a terrible thing. So the potatoes went in about 5 to 7 minutes after the pork did, and then we started chopping up our broccoli and our tomatoes and put that in a pan with some brown butter and wine, and those are going to cook for about 7 minutes. So all in all, the time from when you put the pork in the oven to when everything's done should be about 25 to 30 minutes. And that times it perfectly to where when the pork's done, the potatoes will be done, and the broccoli will be sitting there ready to go. So should take you about 45 minutes in total from chopping everything up, put everything in the oven, and life should be good. This is so embarrassing to do, Melissa. You owe me. Okay, so just to let you know where we are right now, the broccoli and the tomatoes are done. They're just sitting there. They'll be fine. I left them slightly covered, not really covered, because you don't want the broccoli to turn brown, and that can happen. And I'm going to pull the pork out. Hold on. Oh, that's hot. So this is what the pork looks like. It is going to sit on the stove and kind of settle. With meat, it's always good to let it settle and get the juices back into it, kind of like when you cook steaks and stuff like that. And while that's happening, the potatoes are going to finish up and we'll be done. So, hold on. I can't turn this thing off. Okay, so we're done cooking everything, so now we're going to serve everything. Wanted to let you know, this is what your potatoes will look like when they come out of the oven. A little bit browned on the sides. I did toss them about once or twice just to get everything going. It's heavy. This is your broccoli and tomatoes. So So now what we're going to do is just serve everything up. I chose the fried Carno Sienna to serve at dinner tonight. This is kind of like, not really Italian, but kind of Italian. With the flavors, with the mozzarella, the roasted garlic, the fresh tomatoes, the feta, the potatoes. And fried Carno is a Sangiovese base, an homage to Italy that the fried Carno family made for their heritage. So it's Napa style, but it's kind of a little bit bigger and bolder, but a little juicier. So we're going to do a little bit of that, a little bit of the broccoli on the plate. Take the potatoes, do a little bit of potatoes. I'll probably eat more potatoes than I should. So don't probably do as much as I'm doing for serving. Okay, and then what I wanted to show you is the way the pork looked when it came out. See, you're going to see that it's kind of oozing out of the top. Totally okay. What we're going to do now is just cut it up. Take my knife. I'm going to cut it in the middle because I wanted to show you what it looks like. It's kind of neat because you have that little roulade for the pork loin. So you see all that cheese coming out and the basil pesto. And then I'm just going to cut a slice. This is what Dan's going to eat for his lunches this week. So I'm just going to serve one piece just so you guys can kind of see it. And it will, sorry, fall apart a little bit. But that's kind of going to be what the end result looks like. So, here, turn it that way. So you have the pork cooked with the pesto and the pancetta and the mozzarella. You have the tomatoes and the broccoli. Then you have the roasted potatoes. Very healthy, pretty good for you. And I cooked the pork for about 30 minutes. So that way it's not overcooked, because as you let it sit, it's going to cook more. So the whole theory of cooking your pork to 160 degrees is how you get pork jerky. So I wouldn't suggest doing that, but there you go. Thank you, Melissa, for embarrassing me like always and making me do these videos, but I hope you like them. And I love you guys tons. Good night.